Welcome to Founder Voice Podcast, the space for bold, empowering, raw, and unfiltered conversations about business, relationships, and everything that makes us fierce. No filters, no fluff, just real talk. Season 2 is here, and we're going even deeper. Get ready to own your voice, break barriers, and step into your power unapologetically. Let's get into it.
Hey everybody, we're back with Found Her Voice Podcast. I'm your host, Valerie. Today I have the honor of sitting down with Tasha. She's the executive director of the Simon House here in Frankfort. If you don't know about the Simon House, you are about to find out what this is, okay? And of course, Tasha emailed me her story and said why she wanted to be on the podcast. And as I'm sitting here reading, some people they'll email you like one or two sentences, right? Tasha gave me a full detail. And I love it because, I want to know everything, right? I want to know what I'm getting into. And when I seen her story, I was like, oh my God. I have to have her on here ASAP because her story is going to connect with a lot of women. Now, it may not be like the exact thing, that has happened to you or someone you know, because all of her stories are different, and that's fine. But it's where she was and where she is now that is going to connect with you. So how are you today, Tasha?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So I am going to let you start wherever you want, kind of just like the email that you sent me.
Okay.
And empower these women. Show them what it's like to be stuck and how it is to flourish.
So I grew up an only child. I was honor student, trying to be the perfect kid. And I did great. I got married. And I was told that I couldn't have children. And when I was told that, it devastated me. But I ended up being pregnant with Charlotte Lucille. And then I became pregnant with my son, Scuba Dane. Right before that happened, I had actually broke my back a couple of months before I got pregnant with my daughter. And the doctors gave me pain medicine, and I took them the way I was supposed to until the day I didn't. And so I became addicted to pain pills while being a single, I was still married at the time, while being a mother to 2 small children. They were Irish twins. So I was trying to navigate life through active addiction.
Yeah.
I ended up getting clean and sober. I don't know what they say now, but I'm old school.
Yep.
And when I became sober, I realized that my life just wasn't working for me. And the marriage to my high school sweetheart probably wasn't the best idea for either one of us. And I wanted to make sure that my kids were good. And I think they would rather be from a broken home than live in a broken home. And so I left my husband and I became a single mom. And I had 2 jobs. And then mental illness struck. And I had a very dark time. And I ended up becoming homeless. And when I had my children, I could stay at certain places. But when my children were at their dad's house, I slept in my van and I took showers at a truck stop. Those were very scary nights. So coming full circle, I am now the executive director of Simon House. And I'll get back to how I did that, but that's very impactful to say I used to be a homeless single mother too. And now I'm the executive director of a homeless shelter. So I like to put those two together. But go back, I was homeless. I eventually had a family friend offer an apartment to me and my children. So I took that and I took some jobs. I didn't do very well. I was still in a new addiction. I was drinking. I thought because it was legal that it wasn't, that it was okay. And that became unmanageable for me as well. At the same time, I met a wonderful man. He moved me and my children to Frankfort. I got sober and I did better. I was at the house. We lived in the country. I was at the house, but I was really depressed. I didn't have a purpose and I didn't know what I was doing. And there is a book called She Went and Got Off the Couch. And it's by Haven Kimmel. and I had read it years ago. And I decided I was going to read it again because I hadn't been else to do. I lived in the country. It was the pandemic. There wasn't anything going on. And I remembered the story, and it was about a mom that sat on the couch every day, just like me. She didn't do anything. She was an honor kid. She could read. She was smart, but she just was wasting her life away on the couch. So February 14th of 2020, I woke up and I said, I'm getting off this couch. And so that day, my kids went to school and my boyfriend went to work. And I cleaned the house and I baked dinner, or I cooked dinner, I baked goodies. We had a party when they came home. And I said, I promise you, things are going to change. And so I took a couple of odd jobs. I worked for a woman and I sat with elderly people that were in hospice. Both of them ended up passing away. And I didn't have a purpose anymore. I was taking care of them, but I did not want to backtrack. And so I was on Facebook in my kitchen and Simon House popped up as a job opportunity, a part-time administrative assistant. And I thought, I really, really want to work there because that track to 2008. I actually applied to be an intern at Simon House and they turned me down. Okay. And I don't know why. I don't know if they just didn't have a strong intern program, but they didn't want me. And I thought, I am going to work there. So even though I was only a part-time administrative assistant, I quickly made myself valuable and they moved me to full-time. And then from there, I became the administrative community services manager. And I did that for about a year. In June of 2024, I was hired as the executive director of Simon House.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's still hard to process sometimes. Sometimes you still have those tendencies or, food insecurity is real. And so there's still things that I do from where I was homeless. And I have to say, Tasha, you know what you're doing. You have a home. You have a job. But that is where I get to give back. And I can identify with my clients and I can understand them. So, that's my story in a nutshell. I will say that the day I woke up, February 14th of 2020, I realized I have a home. I should be thankful. I have children that I was told I couldn't have. I should be thankful. And that's what changed my life, is just being thankful for the things I had around me. So that's what started this whole transformation, gratitude.
Yes, there it is. There it is. I love it. So I feel like these women that come to this. Now, do they ever ask you your story? Do you ever share it with them?
I do share it with them. Now a lot of people know because I've started telling. In the beginning, I didn't tell people. They didn't understand how come I could understand them or give them things that they needed without asking. But one time, I had a woman and she was defensive. And I said, "Here's some baby wipes for you." And she said, "Are you calling me dirty?" And I said, "No." I said, "But I have been without a bathroom before and I was not able to take a bath. So I knew baby wipes would help me." I said, because I used to be homeless as well. And that changed her instantly because she took away the stigma. I took away the stigma. I wasn't saying she was dirty. I was saying, if you ever get in a pinch, here you go. Because I still keep baby wipes in my car. That's another thing there's still certain things you do, and that's one of them. Most of the time, I don't have to tell my clients that I used to be homeless. I think that my passion and my compassion come through, that they know I'm genuine and I care. But there are a couple that kind of question me, and I will say it. I'm not ashamed. And I will say I am not the first director that Simon House hired.
Okay.
I'm the third director.
Really? That.
I put that in my interview. In my interview, they said, "What else do you want to know?" And I said, I want you to know that I wouldn't be the first homeless director, I would be the third, and that we have a history of hiring people that have the experience to navigate this world with Simon House.
I just love it because I know, like, you probably go in there, and you're like this, right? So the woman comes in the door and they just automatically thank you. She doesn't know my struggles. She doesn't know where I've been. She doesn't know how I'm not here, trying to just get a bite to eat or, trying to get out of the rain or the snow, for instance, whatever the case may be. And, I feel like when you tell them, you just give them, you inspire them and you give them hope, saying, in there, I've been in your shoes. I know exactly where you're coming from. So I can tell you that I'm going to help you and I'm going to help you through, I don't know, you guys probably have like a step program.
We have a program.
Yeah. And, just pray because it's all in his timing.
Mm-hmm.
And, you can be sitting right here one day too.
Yeah.
Very easily.
Yeah.
But it's all to you.
It is. It really is. And that's one thing that I tell them all the time. Like, you have to make the decisions in your life to change your life. You have to be committed. There's plenty of times when I would get a planner, think, I'm going to get my life together. I'm going to do everything right. My house is clean. You know what I mean? And then a couple days later, you're back to it. You have to be committed. And there's still something that I say in my head every day is if something needs to be done, I'm not going to put it off. I just have to do it right then, because if I put it off, then I won't do it. So for me, it's, no, you're going to do it now. Because if you don't, you're going to go back to your old ways. And it's easy to do. I've been stagnant before, but I have to tell you, once you get the willpower to change your life, it really will transform you if you let it and you surround yourself with the right people. So for me, I have a really good group of friends that really support me. And that's something else I try to incorporate in the house with the women. In NA, you change your people, places, and things. And when you are fighting for your life to get out of the situation, sometimes you have to change your people, places, and things. And that's not easy. And I had a bad set of friends, and I traded them in. I still have my lifelong friends that I've had that I want to put that out there because if they listen, I don't want them to be like, I'm the bad friend. I have my lifelong friends that have loved me through everything. But I had some fair weather friends as well. I lost my track for a second.
So, poor girls.
But with the new group, I had people supporting me. And that will change your life too. Just having people that's behind you, that believes in you. Sometimes when you don't believe in yourself. I remember I was helping my parents do something at Simon House. I think they were donating something. I was taking it out and I had another employee come up to me and ask me a question. I'm just directing. And my dad turned around and he said, one day you're going to be running this. And I was like, no, Dad, that's not for me. I don't know what I'm doing. And I think about him often when everybody's coming to me or I'm opening up my door and I'm like, he was right. And it was all because I had people supporting me. It really does. You can do a lot on your own, but having a community around you, again, is life-changing.
That is where you meet your circle.
Yes.
So, if you don't know, Found Her Voice was created under foundhercircle. And there's a reason for these circles, ladies. You have to surround yourself with the right people. And then it just creates a circle.
It does.
And it's life-changing.
It's totally life-changing. I have had this group of friends, and it keeps growing. I had my Simon House friends, and then I joined Chamber. I was accepted into Leadership Frankfort. And so those classmates have really become my soul sisters. They help with Simon House. They help personally. I'm going to Ireland. They're going to help me take care of my child while I'm gone. I'm going to try to I'm going to have to say that. That are so called, but it's the people that make a difference. And you have to realize I moved here to Frankfort, but I told you I lived in the country, and so I didn't have a vehicle. I had no friends in Frankfort, and now it just feels good to, I can go to Coffee Tree and run into some of my friends. I can go to a chamber event and I feel included and welcomed. And so much of my circle really believes in me. And so they actually nominated me to be Woman of the Year. And I did it. And I don't think that it was just me. It was all of my friends that supported me and helped me and built me up.
That's good. You need those girls to push you.
Yeah.
And like I always say, women need women to you have to throw this cattiness attitude out the door. You have to realize that, you know what? You guys can come together as women. Yeah, you may not see eye to eye on everything, but you need those women. If it's just to cry it out, if it's to just go eat tacos, if it's to drink a bottle of wine, if it's like, hey, I'm actually struggling over here with this. Is there any way that you can help me? And they're there.
And they don't judge you for it. But you have to get the right group. And that's where I really feel like I have found my people. I have found like-minded people that want to do good in the world and just want the world to be a better place. And that sounds so corny.
No, it does not.
But in my line of work with profit and human services, that's my passion. And even if they don't work in the nonprofit sector, they support Simon House so much that they are really involved as well. And they also have other charities they help with and nonprofits. So my group is really, really like-minded, and we just want the best for the world and our children.
I love it. So I want you to tell them, like, how is the Simon House doing? I know that you guys are always accepting donations. I looked on your site today. You only have 2 sponsors. So
for right now, for the Tea Party, they meet Ellen Jenner on the website. So we have, those are community partners that we have, which is more local, the United Way and Lowe's. Lowe's did a Hometown Hero project for us last year. So those are our local partners. We have bigger grants.
Yeah.
That way. We also are supported by a lot of the churches around here. We do always take donations, and I'm working on different ways to do that instead of being so boring. A lot of times they're like, well, if I'm not right in front of Simon House, I don't know how to give. And so I'm trying to make it easier. We're going to be rolling out a campaign, text to donate. So you'll just donate Simon House or text Simon House to a number, and it will donate directly to us. We have QR codes. You can always go to our website. It's simonhouseky.org. I think I've set it up on Facebook as well. I'm just trying to, we have letters, we mail those out too, but I'm trying to stay with the times. And nonprofit is changing a lot the way they do things. So, and we always take money, of course, monetary donation, but something Simon House is known for is our community services program. And what that is we help prevent homelessness to anybody in the community. If you are struggling, we can help you with rent assistance, utility, hygiene products, cleaning products, and supply issue or items. So my pantry is huge, and I supplement a lot of households in Frankfort. So that is the other big donation I ask for, is the cleaning products, the hygiene. Anything that you use to run your house. One, I have a house. I have a shelter of 16 people, so we always need those things.
So did they stay there?
Yeah.
18 adults?
Families with children. We can have single individuals. Right now, I'm at 4 families. I have 11 children, 12 children, and 4 moms right now. That is the most kids we've had in our house in a long time. And I really love seeing them doing stuff and playing and being happy, because I know what it was like not have anywhere to go with kids. And that's the thing that I always try to remember is it's about the kids. Oh, I know what I was going to say. I wanted to bring up something that I think people don't think about. Simon House has been around for 40 years. This is our 40th anniversary. We're going to do something later on in the year. And there is something that I have noticed. I've been there for almost 4 years. We are now seeing a second generation. So as much as I want to be a one and done when it comes to the shelter, I want you to come and stay and help us get your forever home. And then you don't have to come back to us. That's my goal. I will always be here. But now some of my former clients, their kids are coming and they're saying, I knew I'd have a place in Simon House if I needed it. I want to break that cycle. I will always be here. And you asked me if I needed cleaners, and I said no. This one gets me.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard seeing children that say, I used to live here. Can I live here with my kids? I want to break that cycle. It's difficult, and I always want to be here. But until I can break that cycle, my job is not done. Yeah. And it takes a lot on you.
Mm-hmm.
But not say anything about the previous programs or anything like that. We are just in a hard spot right now. And so I've been working with my case managers and community partners so we can really wrap around services around our children at the house. And maybe we can break some cycles that way.
Those generational curses.
Yeah. And it's difficult. And the first time it happened, I was like, I'm so glad that you were here. The second time, I was like, okay, but I'm up to much more, many more people saying I used to live there. And my heart breaks. And then I ask about their parents. And sometimes, they didn't have an easy life. So that's my job. And that's what I've really been focusing on is breaking those curses, breaking those cycles, because I can help you all day long. But it goes back to you have to do it yourself. And it is difficult. That's a new trend that is coming across Simon House. And it's something to think about.
People don't know that.
No. Like for us to be around that long, that now we are seeing another generation. But I really am curious of how many children who've lived there have moved back when they're adults. I would like to see. Yeah.
So are you guys just starting to work with the other partners and creating these programs in town to break these?
Or I think they did it a little bit. In the previous, we had case managers that worked with Wanda Joyce Robinson Foundation and Yes Arts, things like that. But we are just taking a more hands-on approach. When we had the other shelter, because we had another shelter that had to close May 31st, we were really concentrated on keeping that going because it was always, are we closing? Are we staying open? Are we closing? There was a lot up in the air. And so I feel like the house was neglected a little bit.
Yeah.
Just because all hands on deck, we were trying to float 2 shelters at once. And so I feel like now that we are back in Simon House at Campbell Street, that we are going to be able to really, invest in these children and help them in ways maybe we weren't able to before.
That's good. So are people allowed to just drop off like items on the porch? I mean, I've only been there once. I went there last Thanksgiving.
You dropped something off for me.
Yes, I did. And so I was like, I don't know what they need, and I'm always trying to help wherever I can, where I can. And like we had the conversation before we started, like, I don't come to town to do stuff, right? And now it's like something in me this year with the whole rebranding and rebuilding. I'm like, I need to get out in this community. I need to help here. Stop going to Louisville. Stop going to Lexington, Valerie. Stay in Frankfort. And, and I told you about the meeting that I had last night, and I was like, there goes the opportunity. And now I'm sitting down with you today, and we're deep diving in this, and I'm like, there's another opportunity. So it's like, there's so many opportunities for people to pitch in and help where they can. But these people have to know where to go, where to help.
50% of my job has been going out into the community. One, to tell everybody we're still open. After we close the other shelter, everybody thinks we're closed.
Yeah.
I would say stay in your community. Your community needs you right now. And I felt guilty for a long time because I lived in Georgetown and I felt like I was supposed to be giving back there. This is where I live. This is where I spend all my time, and I feel like this is my community, not the community I live in, my community. And there are many different ways you can give back, not just to my organization, but other organizations are looking for volunteers.
Yeah.
I'm looking for volunteers to help me answer the phones a certain time of day where I don't have anyone there. Also, the donations, I'm going to go back to that. You can drop them off on the porch. If you message me through Facebook, I'm the one that answers. And you can say, hey, I have donations now. And I can kind of work with you too if you don't want to leave them, if they're more valuable or if they're not just closed and you're just not sure. You can always reach out to me through Facebook and I'll work with you to get the donations. We also have a cabinet on our porch that opens up that you can put your donations in so they don't, get the weather.
Yeah.
But I do want to stress that there's so many ways to give back, and it doesn't have to be monetary. I don't have a lot of money, but I like going down to the farmer's market and volunteering at, the welcome table. There are ways you can give back that tailors to what you like to do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. I always say that, like, you don't have to have a bunch of money or money to support somebody.
Nope.
I mean, look at us. I will say a lot of us have things in our house that we don't use, we don't need, but we will take it to another room and we will have this big old room full of stuff that we don't need, but we won't get rid of it because we think, oh, we're going to need that one day. Just think of all the people in Frankfort that does this. And if they would just clean out that room and just bring it to you, and all these families out there that have a house now, they don't have much in their house. Like, Frankfort people could furnish other Frankfort families.
And I will have to brag on Frankfort because we have our Facebook page and I can put a need out. I can say I need a double stroller. Within 2 or 3 hours, there'll be one on my porch.
That's good.
I could say I have a community member that needs a washer and dryer. She could pay about $200, but that's it. Delivered to her house for free.
Love it.
So I want to brag on Frankfort. They never fail me. I don't know. There are actually Franktonians in other parts of the country that still support and donate to Simon. I get packages from California, shampoo, little things you don't think about, but they're still supporting us from afar. But you can support just by sharing a post, liking a page, going to a fundraiser where you're actually getting some bang out of your buck.
Mm-hmm.
There are ways to support. And I hate when someone says, I want to do something but I don't know what to do. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just wish that everybody knew that it doesn't matter how much money you have. There are ways you can support your local nonprofit.
If I have one suggestion, I'm going to say, when somebody comes to you and says, I would have an email ready.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say, what's your email address? And I would send them an email. And I would say everything that they can do, what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
This is how. Because some people, I feel like, they're scatterbrained, and they really don't think about it. Because, they never, you don't know what it's like to go without. So when you haven't been there, you don't know how valuable a bottle of shampoo is, how valuable body wash is, the water, the toilet, the food that you put in your belly.
Even going to the size of the items you just listed.
Mm-hmm.
So like a community member may need a full body, a full size of shampoo, but my unhoused population, they don't want big ones. They need little ones to be able to. So those are things too that people don't think about.
Yeah.
I have a flyer, but that's a really good idea of just ways to give back. And honestly, I would probably put some of the other local nonprofits on there and say, if it doesn't fit for us, then here's other ways you can help them too.
Most definitely. And I would have them do the same thing.
Yeah.
Because any way you can collaborate and help each other is more successful.
It really is. And we're good. The men's shelter, we work really well together.
Mm-hmm.
He actually texted me the other day and he said, "Do you have a breast pump?" He said the things that unasked at a men's shelter. But he had someone that was unhoused that needed one. He knew he could come to me and we could get him one. So we do work hand in hand, and that makes it better too for everybody. So maybe that mom didn't know she could come to Simon House, but he knew he could contact me and we would help. And it's the same. He has things that he doesn't really need at a men's shelter, and he will donate them to us. And we have other partnerships, but the men's shelter and I, we work together a lot.
Love that. Love that. All right, girl. Tell them one more time where to find you, where to donate, and of course, just donate all the goods. All the goods. I'm just going to say all the goods. All the money, all the goods, all the food, anything and everything. Just take it over there, put it on the porch. If they don't need it, they're going to know somebody that does.
I will say that if there's something that I don't need, I will make sure it goes into the hands that need it. We are actually having a freebie Friday free yard sale for the community on Friday. And it was things that like Five Below donated, and we are giving it out into the community for free. So I just wanted to put that out there. But you can reach me at Facebook. On Facebook, it's Simon House of Kentucky. My email is director@simonhouseky.org. We have our website, simonhouseky.org as well. Did I say that one right?
It's okay.
My email and the website.
Yeah.
There are ways to do it. We will be rolling out the text to donate campaign that hasn't happened yet. And then we are on Venmo as well, and you can donate on Facebook. And yes, donate all the things to us. Really, honestly, if you think about it, if you need it for your house, we need it for ours. So I wanted to end on this. A lot of people don't know what Simon House means. Do you know what it means?
I do know.
So Simon stands for Serving Infants, Mothers, Ongoing Needs. And we just found that out a couple years ago. It had got lost and no one knew what it meant. And I met the woman that helped start it. She worked with me for 3 years. And one day she just said, "Well, you know what Simon means?" And I said, "I don't. I have no idea." And she said, "Serving Infants, Mothers, Ongoing Needs."
You have it on the website?
I don't know.
Facebook.
If there is, there's actually a picture that is in one of the magazines. There's a little girl holding her doll, and the window of Simon House says Serving Infants, Mothers, Ongoing Needs. It was in the State Journal.
Okay.
And so the only weird thing is that it had the little girl's name, address, and age. That's how long ago this was, because they don't do that anymore. Is that not crazy? Like, here's where this child is.
Back in the 80s.
Yes, early 80s. I'll have to put that on the website because it's a really cool picture.
Of course, take out all the goods. Although, it's 40 years later, but still.
Yeah. So I hope she didn't mind because she was in the magazine there 6 months. But it was a really cute picture. I'll put that out there for everybody to see.
That's good. Tasha, I can't thank you enough for coming on this podcast, sharing your story. You are phenomenal. Congratulations on being the director, but congratulations for going from the ashes and just flourishing into this beautiful flower that you are today.
Thank you. That means a lot.
I love that. I love it. And I love all the women that you're helping. I love that you have your circle now. And those girls are just behind you 100% pushing you. And they're going to continue to push you. So who knows what's coming next for them, right? Who knows? And of course, you guys don't forget to go help the Simon House any way you can. And that is it for this episode. And of course, like it, follow it, share it, subscribe to it. come back next week because we're going to have another phenomenal woman on here because this is what we do. Bye until next time, guys.